Hi there, welcome to episode 6 of the Home Studio for Beginners course here at Record Mix Repeat. I'm your host, Rusty Smith. Today's episode is all about the workflow of recording a song. What we're going to do is talk about how to get started, what the proper order of things to do is, the different considerations that you have to have, what's required to get different things recorded, and how to get a basic mix so while you're recording what you're hearing sounds good. We're going to cover all those things, so sit back, enjoy, and absorb. In order to get a foundation going, you have to have a couple of things in your head that you need to know. First and foremost, what's the tempo? And secondly, what's the meter? Is it going to be 4/4, or is it going to be 3/4? Is it going to be 4/4 with a duple feel, or is it going to be 4/4 with a triple feel? Okay, so these are things that you have to have set up properly in order to get the foundation for a drum part put together, or for any part put together, even just to establish what your grid is doing. So in doing just a very straight time 4/4 feel, here we have a tempo of 115 with a meter of 4/4. This would be more of a straight ahead 4/4 feel. Okay, that was with our click and input quantizing to eighth notes, straight time. If we quantize to 16th notes, we can do a little bit more complicated kick drum stuff and snare drum stuff, but it'll still be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So there we have very straight time 16th approach. Now, let's say we want to do more of a blues shuffle. Well, a blues shuffle is going to be something in 4, but it's going to have a triple feel to it. More of a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, like a dun 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 dun, kind of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. So in order to do that, you need a triple feel. Eighth note triplets. We're still in 4/4, but we have a triple feel, and it's counting 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Now that we have this grid set up, let's lay this down. Okay, so you hear I'm a lousy drummer, but let's see how this plays back. Has the right feel. If we try and lay down that drum beat with a straight feel, well, watch what happens. Here we go. Let's play that back. Well, that doesn't sound right at all, right? Well, because the grid is not accommodating a triple feel. It's accommodating a duple feel. So when I'm trying to go dut dut dut, it's changing it to, it's counting 1E and a 2E and a 3 instead of 1 and a 2 and a 3. So you need to know whether you've got a 3 feel against 4 or a 2 feel against 4. Very important. How about 3? How about 3/4? Let's look at 3/4. In this particular thing I've set up, we have a 3/4, a measure of 3/4. So listen to the click go by. It's a waltz. 3/4. If you got a song that's got a 3/4 feel to it, okay, accommodating 3/4. So there's obviously more meters but we're not going to cover. There's a million meters. I mean, you can be in 7/8, you can be in 9/8, you can be in 5/6. I mean, you can't be in 5/6. There's no such thing. You can be in 5/4, 6/4, all sorts of different meters. But this is just a basic to show you that you have to figure out the meter that you have going on and whether it's duple on that meter or triple of that meter. Okay, in episode 4, we started recording a song. And when it started, I had a little drum part put together. That drum part, I told you I was going to tell you how I put that drum part together, and that's what we're going to do right now. So there I was going, okay, I'm going to record a song now. So what do I need to do to get this thing going? Which is the basic thing you got to ask yourself every time you start a song. What do I need to do to get this thing off the ground? Okay? And I knew what the song was. I was just covering a Buffalo Springfield song. I listened to the record. I was, okay, let's go listen to the record. So I listened to the recording on Spotify. And I went, oh, the whole thing is held together by a kick drum. I just tapped my finger along with it, and then I went, okay, down here we see I came up with 96 beats per minute. And there it is. That's 96 beats per minute. Once I heard that click and compared it to the record on Spotify, I thought, yeah, that's the right tempo. Great, I've got a tempo. What's the next step? Well, we got to make this kick drum that goes doom, da-doom, doom, right? So we got to get the sound. So I figure, where am I going to get that sound? I got no kick drum in the room. I do know that this virtual instrument right here, I found a kick drum on there that sounds like the right sound. It's what I want. Once I've found that kick, I know that I'm not as good of a drummer as a drummer. And so right here, I click this tab called IQ, and that means Input Quantize. It is going to make me play more in time than my capability is, because I'm not that good. Now, I don't want to be totally sterile, so right here, I put this thing start at 96%, okay? In other words, it's going to correct me to almost being perfect, and any imperfection I do have, it's going to allow a little bit. Now, the other thing I know is this thing has actually, it swings a little bit. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a it's just slightly swinging a little bit. So over here, I grabbed swing and put it just a little bit above 50%, okay? That way the 16th notes will swing just a little bit, and there are 16ths. It's 1, da-dun, dun, and da-dun is 16th notes. So I'm going to record this on a scratch pad over here. You can see here, this is what we had the other day, and I don't want to go over that. So, and I'm going to give myself a little count in, and I'm going to play it, and here we go. I know after listening to the record, in the chorus, it goes doom, 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 instead of the other beat. So let's get that part. Okay, those are the two things that I needed. Let's get rid of this instrument now that we're done with it there. You notice that over here on this track, kick, it's audio. It's not, this here's an instrument track, and that's what MIDI data looks like. The MIDI data looks like this. That's MIDI, but what have we got here? That's what we ended up using. So I ended up using that because it was a simple thing and I didn't need to have this instrument working all the time. What I decided to do, if we right-click on this, we can see bounce to new track. And you see this squiggle right here, that means audio. So it can bounce audio to a new track. We'll just do that real quick. And boom, there it is. There's the audio. And here, the chorus part that was a little bit different, bounced audio to new track. So we can take this, put it up here on this track, and we're done with the virtual instrument for the kick drum. Now, I also know that there was a snare part. It was doom, ch, da doom, doom, ch, doom, doom, ch, da doom, doom, ch. And so I want to get that ch available, okay? So to find that snare that I spoke of just a moment ago, I have to go back to the instrument here. This is where our kick was. Now, oddly enough, the snare on this track, it doesn't match the sound of the snare that we need. So I had to go looking, and this is the part of recording that's a little frustrating at times. You got to find the right sound sometimes, and sometimes it takes a while. I can tell you, here's where I found the sound. I found it here in this jazz snare. Barely got to hit the pad to get the right sound. Very low. If I hit it hard, it's too loud, but I know I can edit that later, so I just need the notes in the right place. So I just go downstream. Here's where we recorded the kick drum earlier. I'm going to go down to measure 13, go down to the metronome, turn it on. I've got it set up to give me a count in, and I just know I got to do it on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all we need. A couple of measures. So, like I said, it's a softer hit than that. So let me turn off this click. So I know I have to make that not as hard. So I double click on this because I have to edit the velocity of it, okay? Velocity is how hard a note sounds, basically. You see we got different things here that we can play with, and one of them is velocity. Down here, measure 13. How about that? Let's see how that sounds. That's still too much. A little less. Now, after listening to that, I'm realizing that ring off on the snare is too long. I want to change that. Let's bring this back up here. So I want it not to ring as long, and what I'm going to do is shorten the decay on this thing. That's more like what I'm looking for. And guess what? I don't have to reperform it. Now it's shorter, and it's the right sound. Very cool. Now that I know it's the right sound, I can say, okay, great. Let's go ahead and print some audio of that. And there it is. We can get out of the editor now. We can look down here. Here's our first groove here. You see right here we have our kick audio track. So I want these things in the scratch pad to be on the same track. So, and now we're going to edit it. So I know that in the verse progression there were 12 bars of the kick. There's 12 bars of that, and there's 2 bars of this kick. So for a verse, we'll shorten this down to 4 bars, and it stops on the bar because I am working on the grid. We're snapping right here. It says toggle snap. The beauty of snap is that it allows you to go right to the right place, right on the grid. Here's 4 bars. We need 12. If you hit the letter D, it will duplicate. Look at that. Now we have 8 bars. Now we have 12 bars. Then we drag our chorus kick drum over, and it only goes on for 2 bars, so we'll do that for 2 bars. Then, the miracle of editing, we can grab that 14-bar phrase and duplicate that. Here's the intro and verse and chorus, first one. There's the second verse and chorus, third verse and chorus. And then we just duplicate this because it's only 3 verses. And then that's our fade out. Look at that. How fast we were able to just put that arrangement together. And down the road, we still have the ability to edit it. There's a 2 and 4 on the snare track. Here's 1 bar of 2 and 4. We play measure 13. Right? Pull that down to the front. Duplicate that. There's 4 bars. Duplicate that. There's 8. There's 16 bars. What am I saying? There's 16. There's our drum track for the whole song. And that's how I put that together. Now I had to visualize that as I listened to the record, and you'll learn to do this over time. You'll go, okay, what are the elements that I need to do to get this all taken care of? But you have to understand what it is you have in your head in order to get a foundation laid down. I knew that if I got this foundation laid down, I could play instruments against it and it would work. That's the end of part 1 of episode 6. In part 2, we'll cover more areas of how to have a solid workflow when recording. I'm your host, Rusty Smith. Thanks for watching.